America's 45th president is making a major political comeback in both national and global politics, making him once again the 47th president of the United States after a resounding win in the November 5th elections.
We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement.
Donald Trump has trounced Vice President Kamala Harris in the hotly contested election, signaling a shift in U.S. policies on global affairs. Here in Kenya, Trump's win has sparked discussions about potential changes in the U.S.-Kenya relationship, from trade to diplomatic ties. During his previous term, Trump focused heavily on America First policies, often limiting aid and partnerships in Africa.
I try to look at Trump's administration between 2016 and 2020. If you're keen enough, between 2017 and 2020, Trump had stringent measures on visas. So it was a little bit difficult for many citizens all over the world to get into the US, trying to really minimize the number of immigrants who would probably find themselves in the US. Chances are that to protect American interest is likely also to tighten the visas to the US.
For Kenya, the new leadership in America could impact ongoing collaborations such as trade agreements, healthcare and educational exchanges.
Kenya, if you have to look at our GDP and our economy, majority of our remittances in the Republic of Kenya comes from the US. Majority of our remittances come from the US. It means majority of Kenyans who are working in the US, doing business in the US, send a lot of cash over here. To some extent, this help in the economic activity and growing of our economy. So if you reduce the number of Kenyans who can probably access that market through probably non-tariff barriers and tariff barriers, most of our products will not find place in the US.
In May this year, President William Ruto went for a state visit to the first world country, a visit that was touted as one that will present Kenya and the US opportunities to collaborate. However, the agreement might not see the light of day with the incoming of Trump.
My only worry is, sometimes there are a number of projects that you can secure as deals, but projects that may depend on political goodwill. And so therefore, this one raises the question of now, will there be political goodwill from the current president-elect, that is Donald Trump, in trying to accomplish some of these secured deals? Or could he probably change his mindset and say that this was not a priority? So no need of executing this, no need of implementing that. Therefore, when looking at Kenya, our interest is now specifically security. Therefore, the so-called mega infrastructural development, the Nairobi-Mombasa highway, we can shelve it.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris' loss ends her historic run as the first female and first African-American vice president. Despite a spirited campaign, the vice president did not manage to win the 270 electoral college votes needed to succeed Joe Biden.
Biden handpicked Kamala. So again, it raises question on the democratic ideals within the Democratic Party. Was the process of nomination democratic? That is another subject of debate. Yes, because some felt like, yes, we are a Democratic Party. But does it mean that the appointment of Kamala is democratic? To some extent, I tend to think a number of Democrats were not really enticed by this candidature. And then finally look at towards the end, when now Trump came with the slogan that it's too big to rig. Too big to rig was a calculated move, well-executed strategy. When you say too big to rig, number one, there's what we call politics of perception. You are creating a perception towards your followers that this thing is too big to rig. You're already winning.
Brian Amuai, K24.